Well, we're still reveling in the performance of Harambee Stars yesterday at the Kasarani Stadium, especially when they faced Morocco, now leading the charge in Group A with 7 points. We do hope that with Zambia will also do the same. President William Ruto, for that matter, has met with the Harambee Stars at the Pullman Hotel in Upper Hill, of course, to congratulate them and remember the pact he made with the Harambee Stars. If they win any match, they'll be getting 1 million each, and of course, if they draw a match, they'll be getting 500,000. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Ann Wangeshi. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 2. And we start on a sour note where 4 people have died in a fatal road accident in Kesayani along the Kibwezi-Kitui Road after the vehicle they were traveling in lost control and overturned several times. 1 person survived during the accident, which occurred at around 11 p.m. on Monday. The occupants of the vehicle were a family who were returning home from a wedding ceremony in Miambani, Kitui County. The bodies of the deceased were taken to the Kibwezi mortuary. This comes amid concerns over the increase in road accidents across the country the month of August.
Leo tuko na huzuni sana kama wodi kwa sababu tumepoteza watu 4. Cha huzunisha sana ni kwamba madam yule ameaga na mtoto wake alikuwa na harusi next week. Saturday hapa Catholic, na ni pigo kubwa sana kwa wodi. Kwa hivyo kama kiongozi ningependa niwapatie pole familia ya Mr. Moki na Thendaya Thange ward.
The East African Community member states have been challenged to put efforts towards a joint EAC tourism promotional campaign to tap into the vast tourist sites within Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. Speaking in Nairobi County, President Yoweri Museveni's advice on tourism, Lilia Jarova, emphasized the unique adventure for each country and the need for concerted effort from the tourism boards of the 3 countries, which will not only increase revenue generated from the tourism activities, but also market them as the best destinations in the region. And of course, we'll be bringing you that particular story. We do apologize for that technical hitch. Once it's ready, we'll be airing it once more. Now, Busia Governor Paul Otuoma has vowed to fully support the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC in its investigations into the alleged 1.4 billion shilling tender fraud involving 6 senior county officials. Speaking during a fundraiser at Nambale, Governor Otuoma said county officers found culpable after the probe should face the full force of the law. His sentiments were echoed by the Principal Administrative Secretary in the Office of the President, Arthur Siem, who challenged the county administration to embrace transparency, accountability and fast-track development projects.
Wakisema hapa iko makosa, hiyo ni kazi yao. Lakini pia bunge iko na haki kuita hiyo watu kusema shida ni nini, iko wapi. Tuangalie, tusifanye tu kila kitu kuwa ni siasa ama kukondeni. Look at it, ita hiyo watu, muulize maswali, mwambie nimesikia kwa idara yako nini hapa inaendelea. Hiyo ni mandate mumepewa na hii wananchi. Sisi tunaombea gavana na tuombee wale ambao wako chini yake wawe waaminifu kwa watu wa Busia. Sio? Wao waaminifu kwa watu ya Busia. Hatukupeleka watu kufanya kazi ambayo ni kinyume ya sheria.
Now, several winners have been awarded during this year's Utalii College 25th Tourism Competition in the hospitality industry. Utalii College Board Chairperson David Wamatasi, who graced the occasion, urged stakeholders to continue with a unity of purpose to ensure better service delivery. Wamatasi said they will continue to improve the infrastructure in the college to enable more intakes and training. This, he said, will equip the industry with skilled personnel for better service within and outside the country. Several categories were awarded, including reception, bar managers and hoteliers.
The events we are doing and the continuous training by KUC, next to us and ITK that very soon will be commissioning, so that we ensure the quality of graduates we're turning out. We ensure that we're turning out quality graduates. So we need to invest more in infrastructure. On my right, these ITKs, and it's in the next few months we'll be commissioning.
The target set by the government of Kenya, about the 5.5 million visitors, can only be achieved through effective training that we are doing as stakeholders in this industry, and also the competition enhances the experience that we expect our visitors to receive when they visit our hotels.
We have the hotel classification, which determines the star rating of hotels, which will enable us to enforce the standards and help the customer to know what to expect.
Managed to get the first position in the receptionist category awards. Grateful to the team that we work together, and also grateful to the company for offering us this opportunity.
The interactions that we had since Monday till date was very fruitful. We exchanged numbers, and even we promised each other we are going to share ideas so that we make hospitality industry great.
Now, the youth have been challenged to be at the forefront of the climate action campaign. This clarion call was made during the second day of the Climate Action Innovation Summit held in Nairobi County, and bringing together civil society organizations, state actors and young environmentalists. It is here that the government was urged to institutionalize youth representation in all climate governance structures. The stakeholders further urged the national government to enforce waste segregation partnerships through the county policies and laws.
We want to come up with locally led solutions from the different young people, and then as we go towards the next week, where the devolution conference will be happening, we now want to get to the stakeholders, the CSOs, the government players, the development partners who are there, and then we want to now give them the views from the young people.
So this is quite a call to action to, the different stakeholders, to the government, to the donors, and even to our fellow youth to come together for this movement that we have just begun, to pursue things around green entrepreneurship, climate action, so that we can save the planet.
Our takeaway from this summit has been on education and lifelong learning, and something unique that has come up in terms of involving youth from the ages of 15.
What I've learned from the summit is that there's power in storytelling. So, and when you go out there to give this story, make sure you speak in a language that the people understand.
As we will, our resolution still is to support the youths to come up with position papers that they can present at the COP30 in Brazil. And youths have different recommendations, both to the national government and even to the county government and even to the international communities. And one of them is to institutionalize youth representations in all climate governance structures within the national government.
Nearly 500 participants from across Kenya joined the Camp Ndunda Falls Modathon in Embu County, a muddy obstacle race through Njukiri Forest aimed at promoting healthy living and forest conservation. Under the theme Travel Green, Stay Healthy, the event saw over 1,000 trees planted, adding to the 50 acres of forest restored since its inception. Conservationists have hailed the initiative, terming it a model for merging tourism, fitness and environmental restoration.
Tuko na Kenya Forest Service, tumeshikana zote hapa Kabudunda ili tuweze kuhifadhi msitu huu wetu wa Njukiri, na leo tumekuwa na marathon kubwa. Kwa hivyo tungeuliza wananchi mwaka ujao, the next edition, watu wahudhurie kwa wingi, waje wacheze ndumba hapa, waje wafurahie.
It was tiring. It was a really long marathon. I think it was my first, let me say it was my first marathon, but it was a really good marathon and very exciting. And it's so nice to feel that I had an impact towards the environment.
I think it's a really good thing because right now we are talking about climate change, and we need to at least be cognizant of the trees and the environment here.
Still with the conservation efforts, the National Social Security Fund, NSSF, is marking 6 years of service with a goal to plant 2 million trees in support of Kenya's 15 billion tree targeted by 2032. Now, NSSF Chairman David Karuki Njeru said the initiative, which blends golf and conservation, is part of their 5-year strategic plan for climate mitigation. COP Bank and KCB leaders praised the partnership as a milestone in environmental stewardship and a boost to sustainable development.
Set a very, I would say, strong precedent as far as the IRF performance is concerned, and with this kind of dynamic teams, with this kind of also partnerships that we, of course, promise to continue building, we expect a lot of good things to come your way, of course, in the course of time.
Tree planting initiative is not just a symbolic act. It is a concrete contribution to Kenyans' climate resilience, ecosystem restoration, and green future. As COP Bank, we are proud to support such impactful initiatives which align perfectly with our green agenda.
Shamberere National Polytechnic conducted its first ever graduation ceremony after it was elevated to be a national polytechnic. The Principal Secretary for TVET, Dr. Esther Moria, who presided over the ceremony, said Shamberere National Polytechnic has a remarkable growth with a drastic enrollment of students from 3,872 to the current student population of 6,387 since its elevation to a polytechnic status. Dr. Moria, who was accompanied by the Chief Principal, Dr. Elisha Nyamu, Kati Chairperson, Dr. David Mwangi, and senior ministry officials from various training institutions and parents, implored the institute to uphold high standard as a qualification awarding institution and champion innovation and excellence in technical training. Over 1,700 students graduated from various fields of disciplines.
We have done our work as government to ensure that we are certifying people who are requisite for the certification. And therefore, we have no doubt that this institution deserves that certificate. And like I said in my speech, it is not just a name. It is a challenge to them that they must stand up to what that status means. This society and Kenya as a whole is going to look up to them to ensure that they are requisitely training, they are requisitely coming up with the needed curriculum.
Now, in efforts to rebuild and strengthen the strained relationship between the police and the public administration, police champions have launched a series of programs aimed at fostering trust and cooperation between the police and the citizenry. Speaking at the launch of the choir music album at the Thika AP Chapel, the National Chief Chaplain of the Administration Police Service, Bishop Kibet Kipkoech, highlighted the importance of building strong ties between officers and the public. This comes following the recent Gen Z-led protests that created a divide between the police and the citizens.
Wananchi wa nchi yetu na ni watoto wetu na wengine wao ni wazazi, askari. Ile kitu ningesema ya kwamba wazidi kupenda wananchi na wananchi nao wazidi kupenda askari, kwa sababu sio upande moja. Askari hawezi kufanya kazi bila wananchi, wananchi nao hawezi kuendelea bila askari.
Tushirikiane. Kazi hii haifanywi na mtu mmoja tu. Lazima sisi sote tukaungane, hasa tunapokuwa na information, sharing information, supporting one another.
Now, Kenya's vibrant digital future took center stage this weekend as Innovate 254 Hackathon 2025 kicked off in Homa Bay County, bringing together the nation's brightest youth innovators to co-create digital solutions for the national government and all the 47 counties in just 48 hours. Speaking during the event, the PS State Department for ICT and Digital Economy Engineer John Tanui reiterated the government's commitment to offer pilot opportunities for standout projects and integrating successful ideas into government systems.
Our counties, how our national government deliver services, and also how we can empower citizens and also strengthen transparency in the public service. Okay.
The present and the future belongs to you, and that's why we give you this opportunity to show us, to speak to us through the work that you're doing as to how we can change this country and make this country a better place. And from what we've seen, it's truly brilliant, it's truly wonderful. We have very good brains in this country, young people who are very, very intelligent. And I can tell you, we have even better than Elon Musk Kenyans here. And if we support them, if we support this young, if we support our youth, I am sure we will produce softwares that will rule the world.
One of the things that actually downplay the youth is whenever they come up with an innovation, their patent rights are stolen by those that have actually the monies. Kindly, I would request that as we do this, we pass an amendment that there is hefty penalty for any person that does this, and of course ease of registration of their innovation so that we can protect their knowledge.
To the courts, the High Court has granted the Director of Public Prosecution and the Attorney General one more chance to file their responses in the case seeking to have the Deputy Inspector General Eliud Langat prosecuted over the death of blogger Albert Ojwang. This as a Milimani Magistrate Court has allowed the Directorate of Criminal Investigations DCI to compel 4 banks to release certified electronic records in an ongoing probe where senior KANU officials are alleged to have conspired to defraud the public land.
High Court Judge Bahati Momuye has directed the DPP to immediately file his response in the murder of teacher Albert Ojwang, who was killed in June this year. This is after lawyers led by Kibe Mungai informed the court that the DPP had not filed his responses into the case, making it difficult to continue with the matter. Justice Momuye was informed that IPOA and Lagat had filed their responses. In court papers filed, Lagat, through lawyer Cecile Miller, argues the decision on whether to charge him over the death of Ojwang exclusively with the DPP and not the court. Elsewhere, KANU Chairman Gideon Moi and Secretary General Nick Salat have been compelled to provide access to 4 bank accounts. The duo are accused of conspiring to defraud and fraudulently dispose public land originally reserved for Tomboya Memorial Hall, which was later sold to a private firm for 80 million shillings.
Under our applications enumerated number 2, 3, and 4 to enable the respondents, suppliers, with account opening documents and bank account statements.
The oral sentiments by the IO and the reasons advanced for wanting the accounts investigated, which in my view are valid since the property in question is said to be a public utility allegedly disposed of to a private entity. I do believe it's in the interest of justice to grant the prayer sought. The application dated the 7th of August 2025 is therefore allowed in.
The case will be mentioned on 10th September 2025. Letua Debra for Lunchtime News.
Drama enthusiasts have lamented the lack of a government policy to support development of theatre. The groups from Argentina, Australia, Uganda and Kenya said the policy formulation will assist drama groups in the respective countries to make theatre a source of livelihood. Speaking in Kisii County International New Star Drama Group Festival Executive Director Caleb Ichise said members have been visiting schools to perform plays and train upcoming actors. They also urged the youth to use the digital space to nurture their talents.
And organizing this festival, which has brought some countries, Uganda and Argentina, together, is to share, is to have that training part of it. How do we come and use the acting tools so that we can use our mind, our body, so that we can perform to the standard?
Even if we are really different in some ways, because our culture is different, I find many things in common. We are primitive communities too. We have a different, what we call original communities, and we are really compromised with helping and being part of a develop, to keep the enrichment of every community that is belong to the country. Okay.
On the political front, Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika has called on politicians to manage their rhetoric, saying that it could derail the government's agenda. Kihika has instead called on the politicians and key stakeholders to support the president in completing his legacy. Speaking in Kuresoino sub-county during a leaders' opinion meeting, Governor Kihika noted that the country needs goodwill from investors, and politics of hate could drive them away. Her sentiments were echoed by Kuresoi North Member of Parliament Alfred Mutai, who observed that many politicians have deviated from the main call for leadership.
Mambo ya incitement inaleta shida na hakuna mtu atapata faida. Kunayo. Kwa hivyo wale mnacheza siasa yenu, wachaneni na sisi.
Sisi wote viongozi wenye mlichagua kwa debe, tumesema sisi tutafanya kazi kwa pamoja.
Tusitikie watu wa kukuja kutuchochea kwa misingi ya ukabila. Kwa hivyo we shall not allow mtu akuja hapa kutuchochea.
Now, a section of religious leaders in Mumias East, Kakamega County are vowing not to officiate burial ceremonies that allow practice of disco matanga. This was revealed by Pastor Livingstone Washali, the chairperson of the Mumias East Council of Churches. According to Washali, they agreed to keep off burials where the practice, citing the practice is known to condone acts of lawlessness and a rise in teenage pregnancies. He said that they are also collaborating with security agencies to end the practice.
Wakati tunaweka hiyo kinanda kwa matanga, vijana wanatoka katika division zetu. Wanatoka katika division zetu za jirani kama Navakholo, Lurambi, Butere, Matungu, kuja hapa Mumias East kucheza hiyo tanzi. Na wanapocheza hivyo, wengine wako kwa manyumba wanafunja, wengine wako wanapea watoto wetu mimba, wengine wanaingia wanaiba mang'ombe zetu.
Residents of Mulinge Phase 4 estate in Mlolongo are decrying increased insecurity cases in the last 3 months alone. The residents claim that crude weapon-wielding goons allegedly ferried from Nairobi County have been attacking them at night, injuring scores and destroying property. The goons are said to have been hired by a Nairobi-based land grabber who is keen on evicting them from their homes. Athi River East Sub-County Police Commander, that is Anderson Bai, has cautioned them against such attacks, saying law enforcement agencies are on top of the matter.
Hii shamba nadai 29 acres. Na hii area inajulikana ilikuwa eka moja. Hakuna mtu akona eka 2 ama 3. Sasa yeye anadai eka 29 na anasema aidha akufe ama auwe watu.
Ningeomba authorities zinasimamia kama mtu akona kesi anapaende kotini, lakini sio kutumia vijana kuja kuumiza wananchi ambao wamekaa na amani hapa. Wanakuja watoto wanasoma, wanapika marisasi juu. Tukiandikisha statement Instead mtu afuate ukweli ni kama tunaambiwa si ni goons, hatufai kuandika statement. Tumeripoti kila mahali.
Mimi naomba serikali muingilie kati. Nimeripoti niko na ombi karibu 4 ya hapa Mulinge watu wakifahamiwa. Naomba mtusaidie, na anatumia wakora kutoka Nairobi. Jana alikuwa na wakora kutoka Nairobi. Juzi alikuja na wakora na mbasi kijio imejaa kutoka pia Isili.
Mambo ya mashamba kuna ofisi na ndio na mambo ya nini? Ya mashamba. Lakini mambo ya issue security is basically our work. Na tunafanya yetu. Ile kesi zimekuwa reported, files ziko tayari zinapelekwa mbele. Hata you are obtaining files ziko tayari anytime zinapelekwa kwa DPP.
Health stakeholders are pushing the government to increase domestic funding for contraceptives in the budget and remove policy barriers that hinder adolescents and young people from accessing contraceptive services. The group led by Dr. Walter Obita, Marie Stop Kenya County Director, says the move will help avert millions of deaths annually that have been hugely attributed to unsafe abortions. Men in Kenya have also been urged to be involved in family planning matters, noting this will aid in breaking barriers associated with family planning.
We are looking at a space where we are having reduced funding overall in the sexual and reproductive health space. There's the angle of mobilization of local resources from a country perspective, so that the services and the products can be financed locally. Access to contraception prevents unintended pregnancies. It enables men and women to have children when they want them and at a time they would want to have them.
The young people are having sex, and that is the truth of the matter, and they're not asking you for consent. So it's just good that they know when they engage in such sexual behaviors, then what are the consequences, and then how do we circumvent such circumstances so that they're able to finish the education and just delay or get a method that will be able to make them still finish the education, be socioeconomically empowered.
27 minutes past the hour. We need to take our first breather here on KBC's Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. We still have a couple of stories, especially the business segment. We'll also be engaging with one of experts from the IT sector. That is Mr. Philip Ocheng, the Director of Programs at Softech Solutions Limited. That interview will be up next, so don't go too far.
Steps up to take the set piece. Organ will be excited to score his first goal for Kenya here. It'll be one of his aims. Lovely work from Mushiri. Ball out wide. Seeking a way through. Yeah, he got a touch. Brought down by Omondi, and the shot is deflected away for the corner. Mansour looks from range.
Back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship 2024, right here on home soil.
Habari muhimu ni zile zinazoathiri maisha yako, na zinapojiri tuko hapo.
Tunakuletea habari zinazojiri nchini na kimataifa.
Hakuna kabila ambayo iko hapa Kenya kwa malipo ya mwingine.
Mambo ya matibabu isiwe starehe ya watu wadosi.
Tunakufahamisha kila wakati ili uwe tayari kwa yajayo.
We will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Katika ulimwengu unaosonga kwa kasi, usahihi wa habari ni muhimu.
The only thing that has changed, Senator Khalwale, is that you are defending the indefensible.
If you allow me as a bullfighter, I'll fix him here and now, and it will be sorted out.
you were doing very well until you brought out your character of bullfighting.
Tunakupa habari sahihi na zisizoegemea upande wowote.
Pindi tu walioteuliwa wataidhinishwa na bunge la kitaifa.
Na ni hapa ndipo
Darubini,
kila siku ya Jumatatu na Jumanne
saa 1 jioni.
Hesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now to the world of business, where the government is developing guidelines to unlock small and micro public-private partnerships with plans to set up a dedicated unit to tap opportunities at the county level. Now, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is John Buddy, says 37 projects, both national and county, are in the pipeline and will be financed through the public-private partnership model. He says that this will free up public resources for essential social sectors such as health, education and water.
And so we are working on a number of projects. You have just been told 37 of them cumulatively. 34 at the national government level and 3 at the county levels. If we succeed with all these projects, it's going to reduce pressure significantly on our fiscal space, and therefore we will have money to take care of other pressing and urgent needs, to have the correct reserve to protect this country from possible shocks, to keep that balance, to maintain economic growth of over 5%. All this for us to achieve, we must be innovative in looking for money to do our projects so that we don't put a strain on our budget.
And therefore, even as we move into new spaces in roads, where we are looking today at Rironi Mau Summit, we've been looking at Nairobi, Mombasa, and if we do our studies and confirm that you have got enough traffic to guarantee the kind of investment, then today we're trying to close Rironi Mau Summit. Our proponents who are currently being looked at are quite attractive.
Now, with corruption cases on the rise in Kenya, young people are stepping up with innovative solutions to tackle the vice. 2 students from Nova Pioneer Boys High School have emerged as winners at the 8th Youth Scientist Kenya National Science and Technology Exhibition after developing AfroChain, a blockchain-powered platform that enables a real-time tracking of public funds from collection to expenditure. ICT and Digital Economy Principal Secretary John Tanui hailed the innovation, reaffirming the government's support for young innovators.
Since its inception in 2018, Youth Scientist Kenya has reached over 250,000 learners and supported 1,700 STEM projects nationwide. This year's exhibition brought together over 1,000 students, showcasing 130 innovative projects. Among them was Afrochin, developed by Kon Lual Ajok and Ian Mwadilo from Nova Pioneer Boys High School, Eldoret. The innovation is aimed at tackling corruption through blockchain technology. The innovation is the overall winner of this year's edition of the Youth Scientist Kenya National Science and Technology Exhibition and will be showcased at the Youth Scientist and Technology Exhibition in Dublin in 2026.
I think one thing that the youth are really crying for is proper management of resources. Okay. So if the government is able to show the youth that we are really handling these resources well, especially when it comes to public finance, I think the youth and the government will be one. The kind of support we would need is probably we need more professionals in this particular project so that we can be able to make something that is very powerful. And if the government will be able to support us in such and financially as well, then we will achieve our goals in a very short period of time.
ICT and Digital Economy Principal Secretary John Tanui applauded the creativity, noting government support to drive such innovations to full implementation.
Our Ministry of Education, through State Department for Basic Education, has embarked on building infrastructure across the country. We have science labs that are being built in schools across the country to ensure that within the basic educations, our children can access the right infrastructure that can enable them be able to access the labs that are required for science programs.
Youth Scientist Kenya has signed a licensing agreement with a 61-year-old Irish-based exhibition, Young Scientist and Technology Exhibition, opening doors for global collaboration.
To say it has become a huge success, and we're now confident that the same successes we had in Ireland with our Young Scientist programme, which helped transform our society, can similarly be witnessed in Kenya. And I'm very confident, having seen how it's grown over the last 8 years, that it's going to be even more successful in
the Young Scientist Kenya exhibition serves as a vital platform for nurturing scientific thinking, encouraging research and showcasing youth-led solutions to some of Kenya's most pressing challenges. Sylvie Gatti reporting for Lunchtime News.
Hotels in Nyeri County are recording 80% bookings, fueled by a renewed demand from both domestic and foreign tourists out to explore tourism and hospitality opportunities in the area. Derby Place Katarina Operations Manager Wanjiru Nduati says while corporate clients are customers for conferencing and team building activities, individuals check in on the weekends to get together and other holiday packages.
Demand for hospitality services in Nyeri rises during weekends, school holidays and the peak tourism season. Derby Place Karatina Operations Manager Wanjiru Ndwati says there are immense investment opportunities for conference tourism as existing capacity does not meet demand from county and national government agencies as well as the private sector.
We have conference facilities, government as well, we have private, we have companies coming in, we have everyone from around and also from far. Even when it comes to traditional functions, we have people coming from all around.
Nduati says hospitality establishments are opening the area economically, creating jobs and various economic opportunities for locals.
Opened up job opportunities to the surroundings, that is the people around. We've got, for instance, the people living around us. We have got, for instance, border raiders. All those people are farmers as well, because they're the most people who supply us with their meals and everything. When it comes to job opportunities as well, we give the first priority to our neighbors.
The evolving customer taste makes Nyeri and surrounding areas ideal for investment in hospitality facilities.
We continue to also, as a community, to support such businesses allowed, because of this kind of investment also create employment around. A lot of youths have been employed to this place. So it creates that sense of confidence when some even clients come here and they see that somebody has put such a facility here. So they also have that, I can as well establish such a facility in my other rural place. Yeah, so in a way it creates that sense of confidence from an investment point of view.
They spoke during the second anniversary of Derby Place Hotel in Karatina that saw residents and local artists come together to not just make merry but support a growing niche of investment in the central Kenya region. Caroline Kamau for Lunchtime Business.
Thank you, Carol Kamau, for that particular story. Now that brings us to the interview portion, and today we'll be focusing on the IT sector, especially with the emerging trends and how the key stakeholders within that particular sector are faring on and how they're inculcating it to giving some of the solutions not only to the trainees but also to the companies they work closely with. Joining us this afternoon is none other than Philip Ochieng, the Director of Programs at Softtech Solutions Limited. Philip, good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
And maybe we start on that particular note. How is the IT sector faring on where you sit?
Thank you. Philip Ochieng is my name.
Yes.
The Director of Programs Softtech Solutions, which is a leading IT integrated certification trainings. A BPO, that is the call center and enabled solution services. The IT sector, as it is now, is improving because of the technologies that are advancing, and because of the government support in terms of enabling the skills growth for the youths. This promotes actually adoptability of the new technologies in the market.
And maybe talk to us about some of the solutions you offer to the trainees and the companies that you work closely with. But as you're implementing those solutions, what are some of the challenges you have encountered along the way?
Thank you. In terms of the solutions that we are offering, we have a wide variety in terms of certification trainings, which cuts across various cadres. We have those that have just graduated from universities outside looking for jobs.
Yes.
There is the beginner level certifications, and these we've partnered with CompTIA, international vendor, to be able to give them the skill growth from the beginning. Then we also have the professionals that are already in the market. There are various certification courses that we offer through the Cert Nexus, that is on the AI, and also on the cybersecurity from the PCB as a vendor, because we are an authorized training partner for these certifications. The major challenges that we normally face in offering these training solutions to our various partners is the absorption and adoptability of these new technologies, especially in the areas to do with the cybersecurity and AI for the public and at large the financial institutions, because people look at it in terms of maybe replacing jobs or maybe it will reduce the workforce, but actually AI is to enhance the processes of a company so that at least they are able to do it efficiently and so much in a short period as it ought to have been before. So it's an enhancement of technology for various institutions.
And given that you have been in this field for a number of years, when it comes to absorption of not only the graduates who have left school just the other day, but other people who are still tamarking till today and they have studied this particular course, what are some of those issues that have crippled the sector not to absorb these individuals?
Very true, especially the ones that have already finished their colleges and their tamarking. In the university, they might have done the basic degree in IT-related module. But now, this is where now we come in with the professional certification trainings that are job-geared in the market. So after they have done their basic undergraduate bachelor's, now they come to the professional level of certifications where they can either do a Microsoft certification that is on the AI, on the cloud. They can either do cybersecurity either through our PCB or EC Council as a vendor that we offer. They can do networking. So it all depends with an individual area of interest. The challenges that they normally face, especially for individuals that are not employed, they don't know the right channel actually on which specific category they would pursue in order to get employment. And that's why at Softtech, what we normally do, we start with the beginner levels of certification trainings. And after that, we are able to absorb them in our call center business so that they are able to to gain the experience. We offer them internship for either 3 or 6 months, depending on the specific project that we're having on the call center. And after that, they can be able to be absorbed in the market. And this one actually, we appreciate the government of Kenya, especially through the Ministry of ICT, through ICT Authority, as we partner with them, because through that channel, we have been able to actually offer technological trainings to the youth actually for free, so that they are able to get to know what the market currently requires and how are they to be positioned well for the current job needs in the market.
Because this sector is rapidly growing and ever changing every single day. How do we move those particular learners that you teach and they are taught in various institutions to move away from seeking the white collar jobs instead of innovating in this particular sector?
Thank you. And this is why at SoftTech Solutions, we come up with innovative solution technologies that they are able, the participants or the graduates, they are able to use these innovation skills that they have learned from the handheld instructor-led classes or the virtual trainings that we do, so that they can be able to create their own innovative, or they can be able to promote their own business in their own way, other than waiting to get employed. They themselves can be able to use these skills that they have gained to come up with a business scenario that can be able to support themselves or can be able to support their organization. And that's why for professionals, there's a body that is called the Association of Computing Practitioners Kenya, ACPK. And this is a forum for all the professionals where they are able to, we share the ideas, the new technologies that are there, the new trends that are coming up. How do we encounter this kind of breaches that are happening in the government, especially in terms of data breaches and all that. So there's a forum where we share this, and I would encourage all professionals to join the ACPK.
And of course, as we conclude this conversation, as a country and as an IT guy, have we embraced fully AI?
As a country, first, as of now, we are in that process. We are in the developing stages of embracing it fully. As I mentioned before, there's challenges in people accepting this new technology, that is the AI and the cybersecurity. People have not embraced it fully, and that's why we ask them to come for the training. Also to join through the cybersecurity trainings that we offer through the ICT Authority. With this, they'll be able to get skills that will be able to help them. And as a country, once we embrace these things, will flow seamlessly. And we welcome all of them at SoftTech Solutions, because this is where we give all the innovative technological trainings, certifications, and call center all at one go.
Thank you so much. That is Philip Ochieng, the Director of Programs at SoftTech Solutions Limited. Thank you, Philip, for making time for us. And there you have it. That is how the IT sector is faring on, especially with the emerging trends that the world is facing in the face of artificial intelligence. To more stories now, Equity Group Holdings has reported 34.6 billion shillings in net profit during the first 6 months of this year, up 16.9%, mainly powered by lower expenses. Despite the increases in profits, the lender has not proposed an interim dividend payout, just like was the case last year.
Equity Group Holdings advanced 825.1 billion shillings to customers, up from 791 billion shillings. From this, the lender made 49.7 billion shillings in interest income from loans and advances, which is lower than the 53.5 billion shillings the lender made during a similar period last year.
It's challenging, but we will not abandon the people. We have developed the capability now to lead in challenging environments. The group is becoming increasingly resilient.
Despite interest on government securities rising from 29.3 billion shillings to 30.9 billion shillings, the increase was not big enough to offset the dip caused by interest income from loans and advances. This saw the lender's total interest income dipping from 84.4 billion shillings to 84.3 billion shillings.
The government pays us now maybe 9%, but the customers will be willing to pay 14%. You can see the yield. And it looks like we are now able to manage credit much better. So that is the potential of this group.
Furthermore, the increased lending came at a cost, as the gross non-performing loans and advances rose to 139.4 billion shillings, up from 119.9 billion shillings at the end of June 2024, due to a changing economic environment. This saw the Equity Group Holdings increasing the loan loss provision from 48.5 billion shillings to 57.5 billion shillings. In addition, total operating expenses marginally reduced from 59.97 billion shillings to 58.67 billion shillings.
We see the decline in interest income. We're now getting up there, moving up. It's no longer declining, but I think you can see again the reason why we slowed in balance sheet growth is we said we will not take a deposit at any rate. We'll make
Overall, total assets rose from 1.75 trillion shillings to 1.8 trillion shillings, while customer deposits grew from 1.3 trillion shillings to 1.32 trillion shillings. Alanako, Lunchtime News.
Perennial land conflict, stock theft and political incitement are the main causes of conflicts in Narok County, especially areas bordering Kisii and Bomet counties. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who spoke during the 27th Jukwaa la Usalama County Security Tour, said these challenges get worse nearing to the election time, resulting from political incitement. He has, however, noted that a multi-agency team will begin a crackdown in a month to ensure all illegal firearms and ammunition are returned.
But we will insist, we are continuing to insist that any citizen of this republic who makes such heavy allegations and who thinks that they are doing so for the good of the country, they are obligated to put that in writing. And when I say that they should record a statement, it doesn't mean that the National Police Service is not independent. I am just restating what is in the law, that if you have evidence that is related to safety and security of Kenyans, the right place to put it is to take it to the DCI and provide that information so that the people you are mentioning can be investigated and be arrested and be charged.
Also, the East African Community member states have been challenged to put effort towards a joint EAC tourism promotional campaign to tap into the vast tourist sites within Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. Speaking in Nairobi County, President Yoweri Museveni's advice on tourism, Lilia Jarova, emphasized the unique adventure for each country and the need for concerted efforts from the tourism board of the three countries, which will not only increase revenue generated from tourism activities but also market them as the best destination for inboard theatres.
We do have an advantage over other African countries in terms of the diversity of what we have. And yes, we already started years back, pre-COVID, to promote East Africa as one destination. Of course, there was disruption with COVID, but here we are. Now, one of the things that we're trying to do now is to use sports for that. And sports is a very, very good tool to use to promote any destination. And it's one of the most brilliant things that Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania have actually done in the recent, to be able to use the football to be able to promote East Africa.
And now welcome to the world of sports. The Kenya Under-20 women's volleyball team defeated Egypt by 3 straight sets to qualify for the final of the ongoing 2025 Women's Under-20 African Nations Volleyball Championship in Yaoundé, Cameroon.
Under the guidance of former international Jacqueline Barassa endured slow start to win the first set 25-19. The junior Malkia strikers, inspired by outside hitter Daisy Chepkuri's powerful spikes, rallied from behind, narrowing down a 5-point deficit to clinch the opening set. They continued with the momentum in the second set, which they bagged 25-19. Kenya wrapped up the win with another hard-fought third set 25-23 victory. Following the win, Kenya will now face host Morocco in the final, scheduled today at 8 p.m. With Kenya's place in the final assured, they now also secured the slots in the 2026 World Under-20 Women's Volleyball Championship. Meanwhile, the national men's and women's amateur wrestling teams retained their East Africa Amateur Wrestling Championship titles after emerging winners of the regional championship that attracted 4 countries. Kenya amassed 12 gold medals, 4 silver to top the standings ahead of Burundi, Mauritius and Uganda. The Kenya Amateur Wrestling Association used the championship to select junior teams ahead of the Africa Beach Wrestling Championship slated for 4th to 5th of September in Casablanca, Morocco.
Elsewhere, 500 runners from Kenya are among over 4,000 participants who have been confirmed for the 4th edition of the Rwenzori Marathon set for the 23rd of this month in Kasese, Uganda.
This edition of the Rwenzori Marathon, which besides running, also gives athletes a rare opportunity to hike the highest peak in Africa, the Rwenzori Mountains.
When Kenyans look and understand Ugandans, Ugandans understand Tanzanians, Tanzanians understand Kenyans. That's how East African community is made. The East African community must first of all be born in the hearts of the common man, not just politicians. And when it's like that, then the politician will just come on board.
Participants will take part in the 42-kilometer, 21-kilometer, 10-kilometer and 5 kilometers for the disabled. The race is key in promoting regional integration as well as sports tourism.
Mass participating events are very important, both for the Athletics Kenya and for the world, because they are actually promoting the sport of athletics. And so we are happy that governments like the Ugandan High Commission here and the event organizers are inviting us here to be able to share the knowledge and experiences.
One of the things that the government of Uganda has invested in heavily is the infrastructure to allow the transportation into Uganda and within Uganda to all of the tourist venues, including the venues for the Rwenzori.
Meanwhile, Kibera soccer women have been fitted by CFK Africa for their exemplary performance last season that saw them lift the FKF Women Cup and end the FKF Women Premier League season in 3rd position.
We want to reach to over 1 million young people who we feel we can empower with vital information, vital skills to enable them thrive. Right now we're in 26 informal settlement, but we are growing together with partners. And we believe that empowering and enabling young people in Africa will prepare them for the future.
The rewards were started by CFK to motivate persons living in slums to take up the challenge, especially in sports, to bring change to their communities. Kibera soccer women finished 3rd behind champions Police Bullets and Ulinzi Starlets in the Premier League and won the FKF Cup after beating Vihiga Queens 1-0 in the final at Afra Stadium in Nakuru.
And that story by Barclay concludes our bulletin this afternoon. Do not go too far. Our pre-analysis of the matches today, that is South Africa versus Guinea, Uganda versus Niger, is coming up next. Of course, we'll be giving you the latest and intrigues and a preview into yesterday's match. Of course, Harambee Stars, once again, lads, you did well yesterday. Congratulations against Morocco. Now, the only match remains is Zambia. We'll see what happens on a Sunday. Also, the EPL will be back this weekend. That concludes our bulletin. My name is Abdiaziz. Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Ann Wangeshi. And remember, Chaniko KBC.